Hi, welcome to RCKicks. On today's show, well, I've got something super special to show you. It's this. Yes, believe it or not, you don't see many of these. This is an RC10 that's had a Tekin conversion, full chassis to make it mid-motor. Believe it or not, one of the very first RCs to ever go mid-motor. Obviously, back in the day, people were driving around on the dirt, so having the weight right over the back of a two-wheel drive buggy was beneficial. But as things got smoother and stickier and inside and then clay and things like that, moving the motor forward helped improve the steering aspect, as you just didn't need as much weight over the rear end. And that's this. So Tekin looked at it, took the stealth transmission and a few parts from the RC10 and did a full conversion kit. Now I have to say a massive thank you to Kevin for donating this to the channel. I am blown away, generous. I can't believe it. This will go into the collection as one of my gems and it will never be sold. The plan is eventually to be able to show some of these, and he was kind enough to write me a whole letter about his background that will go with this car. So in this episode, what we're going to do is we're going to dive into all aspects of this. I've gone and got all the specifications. It has all vintage electronics in it as well. So before we dive into this and the conversion kit and why it became a thing, let's go back and look at an original. This is an RC10 Gold Pan. Now obviously you can see this is designed for dirt racing. Motors hanging right over the back, getting lots of weight, big knobbly tyres. And it also resembles a more realistic real-world buggy and still absolutely stunning today. But things started to change with the tracks, and that's the whole thing. A two-wheel drive buggy having the motor hanging out the back, great for traction, not so good for steering. So what happened as the tracks evolved, different versions of these were made, and that's where this came in, the conversion kit. Now the kit came out, I'm not sure exactly the date that this came out, but this is the ACK-B01 for buggy. They did two versions of it. So inside the box is the full manual, but I did find this. It's a full 1993, and at the top here, well, I was just having a quick look through, sorry the light's in the way, it says new chassis. So that's the actual option kit. So we can assume it's the end of 1993, the beginning of 1994. Obviously this is and it comes with a full chassis, comes with arms, front and rear, bumper. Also, you need to have a stealth transmission, which we'll get to in a little bit. So this is radically different, but you can see some of the original parts that were taken and moved on to this one. So it was quite a big conversion, and probably one of the first cars to ever have mid-motor. Why it didn't catch it on at the beginning, I guess I can't get it. Never take the tops off on camera. So there you go, that's better. So as you can see, it's not a small conversion, it's rather drastic, and the more I dig into this, the more amazing it is. But you can see basically uses the same front suspension, front upright. Now this one is, as you can see, it's clear here. This one's just been coloured in because most things are black. Some of the things have been coloured in to try and make it look all black, which is understandable really. So the front suspension is the same, but the kit comes with different arms. Also a full chassis. So the battery in this one now goes across the back wheels, still trying to keep some of the weight over the back, and as you can see the motor is now pushed forward. So there's quite a lot of changes to this. Obviously this one as well has full vintage electronics, which we'll come to in a bit. The best thing so far that I found out, this rear suspension is super trick of rotation to keep the wheels totally planted is amazing. You know, you think this is cutting edge stuff back in the day, and it actually has this extra part that goes across and joins the top. Really clever, and surprising how well it actually keeps the tyre face planted without too much movement, which is fantastic. So yeah, this was quite radical, and that I think it took quite a while for people to accept this, but back then it was so different that people didn't think it was the way to go. But as we know today, having mid-motor is pretty standard stuff. So this one has upgraded front steering, ball raced with the yellow parts there. The actual electronics in it are very in keeping with the actual vintage age. It's a brushed motor, it's a Reedy, it's a MVP 24 degree stock motor. Again, quite collectible all on its own. That one looks to be in really good condition. Now, the ESC in this is lovely. This is a Novak 410-M1C, 4 to 10 cell. It's got a BEC of 5.7 volts. And it's limitless, so you can run any turn motor you like. So a lovely thing to see in great condition in this buggy. And the receiver is a Tekin 2-channel AM receiver TERX27. Perfect in keeping. And the servo, now this is something a little bit special. That's a FET boosted Co-Propo, if that's how you say it, FEC PS713 servo. It's got a 60 degree turn at 0.1 seconds at 7.2 volts, and it's got a 5.3 kg torque. Very fast for its day because it actually pulls power. It's got an extra wire. So where these days you have a BEC that has loads of juice and can give it the 7.2 volts, back then you actually have an additional wire. Didn't catch on either, which was a strange one, but back in the day this was very cutting edge and quite radical. With the active link rear suspension, it's got MIP world size rear axles, not the standard size ones apparently. So it's something very different, and a massive thanks to Kevin. Now this will go on display one day when I get the RCKicks track up, as it is a real time capsule and quite a rare one from what I can see. Now I did find a full build of this, and I'll put a link in the description if you want to go and see that, where someone actually took one and had a new in box and converted it and fitted it. Now the wheels and tires on this one, you can basically change them to whatever you want, and currently it's got HBI. These are HBI rims with Schumacher honeycombs on the front and J-Concept Dirt Web 3076 on the rear. And maybe we'll get it running around the Bugad track in the summer when it's nice and dry. The only thing is you've got to be very careful, because if I break these arms, there is no way you're going to be able to replace them. One thing that does stand out is the body. Now this is a Proline Eagle Palmer body. This is a reproduction one from Penguin. But at first I wasn't overly sold on it, but seeing it in the flesh, I do really like it. And I love the retro styling that comes with it. You can run it with the wing or without the wing. I did think about, should I change the body, but I actually quite like it. It's in pretty decent condition, so maybe I'll just leave it. I think the only things I'll probably do is try and change the wheels and tyres, and then maybe see if I can find some slightly better condition suspension. I don't know, we'll see. But it will go into the collection just like this, and hopefully I can fire it up and run it when the weather improves.